Well, my G's. We got a pretty good month for you, Scorpio. I gotta say, the energy seems to be. This is what, the eighth one we're doing. We got four more. Next is Sag, Cap, Aquarius, Pisces. The energy definitely seems to be shifting for all of the signs. Now, some of this has to do with just like these retrograde planets stationing direct with Venus and Mercury. The Jupiter retrograde begins, and it's just that's a lot of like releasing energy. But on top of that, the planets seem to be pretty well aligned for most signs going on, and you are no exception, Scorpio. The alignment of the planets in friendly signs brings forth a wave of positive energy, particularly benefiting you this month. A lot of the energy has to do with these transitional states I've been speaking of, kind of closing a chapter, beginning a new chapter. And this is a global collective kind of energy we're going through, but each sign will have its own unique elements and factors that kind of influence what you will be focusing on as you begin a new chapter. So the celestial configuration is going to grant you the privilege of receiving support and assistance from influential individuals who possess the power to facilitate your personal growth in a specific area of your life. So what this means is that you may encounter people coming into your life who can actually really help you get where you're trying to go. Sometimes, yes, we ultimately are the creators of our own reality, and what we do shapes what happens, but sometimes we use other people in a nice way, not using them, when they come into our lives through collaboration, through support, through all these different types of modalities to come and kind of aid us on our journey. And this is definitely an auspicious month in terms of someone coming into your life, maybe multiple people, who are really offering you a hand. Right? This could be a partner. This could be a group of people. Think Three of Pentacles energy. But this is really kind of offering you a hand in terms of achieving your goals. And a lot of what we're focusing on in September is the achievement of big goals, big dreams, kind of big desires. Not the small stuff, not like, oh, I hope I find $20, but like really focusing on the important things in your life, authentically being who you want to be. Scorpio, you are a water sign. You live in your emotional world. You also have this ability to completely transform yourself from the ground up, right? There are many animals that represent Scorpio, the phoenix being one of them. So this ability to rise from the ashes with a new sense of being and purpose is something that you should be familiar with. Now, this constant turnover and change can be challenging, and this year may have found you kind of going through these trials and tribulations and kind of this chaotic energy, trying to find some sense of identity and balance that you can hang on to. But at this point, things should be smoothing out and kind of ushering you into a period of kind of contentment and growth and transformation in a positive, smooth way, right? So exciting opportunities and enticing proposals are being presented to you. These may have already started since September is here. Now, this is going to be accompanied by the willingness of people to engage in meaningful discussions and conversations with you. So you may find yourself having very profound and deep meaningful conversations with people this month, and those people might be the very people who help you achieve your goals. So be open to possibilities, be open to new relationships, be open to kind of big things coming from seemingly small encounters. If you meet someone new, and this may also come from someone you already know, a new dimension, a broader, higher dimensionality may emerge when you are engaging with people, and your entryway into that very likely is to be conversation. Okay. Now, even with this auspicious atmosphere, you may find yourself contemplating the existence of potential obstacles. Now, I just want to be very clear about this. This is not something that actually exists to block you from doing what it is you want to do. This is more related to your ingrained beliefs and habits and how you can overcome these kind of self-limiting beliefs, right? This often leads you to focus on only the negative aspects of the opportunities that come your way. That's not going to serve you here. Okay. This isn't going to be something that actually gets you where you want to go. It's just going to be something that kind of slows you down. At best, and at worst, it's going to kind of impede your progress. So, if you have a tendency to focus kind of on the shadow or the negative aspects of what's going on, I invite you to kind of put that to the side at this time, especially during this month, and really just focus on the potential of these opportunities and kind of what can come from them in a positive sense. What can you build upon and really start creating something that is going to be pleasant and related to your growth and transformation? Okay. It would prove immensely beneficial if you could liberate yourself from the shackles of past setbacks. So if you find yourself kind of focusing on situations that haven't gone well, or maybe, you could have done something differently, that's not really the energy you want to be bringing into the situation this month. This is more about looking forward to what you can create and co-create with others rather than looking at situations that haven't gone well and allowing that to overshadow your current prospects, right? Consider reframing these as invaluable learning experiences rather than things that have gone wrong. And Scorpio, you do play this oscillation game. You do play this up and down. It's Scorpio is the 8th house energy. This is Pluto is your ruling planet. It is a planet of change. The 8th house has to do with reincarnation, death, kind of going through these processes to kind of tear yourself down and build yourself up. But at this point, I would focus a little bit more on the building yourself up rather than the tearing down. So if you have gone through situations recently that were challenging and difficult, and maybe you felt that you could have done something differently, don't focus on that. Don't focus on what you did wrong, the shame, the guilt, the worry. That's not going to serve you right now. Rather, look at the potentiality of the opportunities that are being presented to you this month, and you should find quite a lot of positive energy going on there. So as you access that, as you kind of get into it, you should see a lot of opportunities and avenues opening up for you, right? Now, if you're able to assimilate these lessons gained from these challenges, you can effectively harness them to your advantage, enhancing your future and present experiences and endeavors, right? So that's where the juice is. That's where the lesson is. It's not about what's gone wrong. It's about what have you learned from the situations that haven't gone the way you exactly wanted them to go, and how can you apply that to future opportunities as they present themselves to you in the month of September. So it really is this reflection process, and this fits in quite nicely with Venus and Mercury and then Jupiter going retrograde in this month to kind of reflect and look at your situations and how do you grow from them? What lessons? When you're able to finally get the lesson that, all right, here's the deal, right? So in life, we want things to be typically in a straight line upwards, just everything good all of the time, nothing bad, but that's not how it works. So we ask the question, well, why isn't it how it works? Is this a fundamental flaw in reality? Is this a fundamental flaw in our way of being? Are we doing something wrong? And the answer is obviously no. We put ourselves through challenging situations so that we can learn and gain wisdom from situations, because things, if they're up and down and you're only accustomed to the up, what happens when a down happens? You're thoroughly unprepared for what to do and how to handle it. And let's say you see someone else going through a very challenging situation. You will have very little wisdom to offer them in terms of what can they do to get through it. So, hey, Plan Alpha, welcome to the chat on Twitch. I'm doing great, my man. So really the point is that when you really start to grok and access the wisdom that challenging situations present you a more holistic picture of what it is to be alive and go through these experiences, then yes, you don't become a lunatic and embrace challenging and shitty situations with a shit-eating grin on your face, but you begin to realize that they're functional, that they have some aspect, much in the same way that fear is a functional emotion. It is not something that is there to scare you and make you upset. It's actually something to encourage you to move through it so you can realize that it is illusory and you can achieve whatever it is you want to achieve and not be held back by fear. These are the lessons, Scorpio, that you're really being taught to really kind of fully understand. Yeah, that's okay. Plan Alpha, you didn't get the notification. It's all good. I will post these in the next couple of days on the Patreon, so you'll get them, the full recordings. Okay. So now the influence of Venus here this month also introduces a contrasting note, potentially leading to some complications and confusion with your romantic relationship. So, for every rose, there is a thorn. And this month, your relationships may be just a little bit chaotic. It is temporary. It is not something to completely worry about. It's just that as you are growing and changing, you may notice that your relationships begin to take on a little bit more layers of complexity. And that's just something for you to deal with. It's not a big deal, right? But the planetary alignments here may ignite intense and sudden emotional reactions, rendering your interpersonal connections more intricate than usual, right? They're going to be a little more complex. So if you notice your emotions flaring up, just try to be aware of that and put yourself in a position to not let that blow up and cascade into a major fight or some kind of issue that's going to require some extra time to work through. So just be aware, you are a water sign, Scorpio. Your emotions are fundamental to your nature. And if they are getting a little bit out of control, then just recognize that, take a step back, take a deep breath, and kind of self-regulate as best you can. Listen to some music, calm yourself down, maybe smoke a joint, whatever you got to do to just kind of get outside of this reactive phase that you may find yourself in. Okay. Now, in order to prevent the prospect of solitude, which is not really the word I'd like to use here, it's more like loneliness, it's crucial that you exercise prudence and forethought before making any significant decisions. And what this means is, if you're not really in a position where you want to be alone this month and you want to be working with others and you want to be with others, really think things through before you start making any plans and reacting to situations. Because, Scorpio, you have this reputation of being mercurial. I'm a Scorpio rising in tropical and a Scorpio moon in Vedic, so I am very aware of the energies that come with Scorpio. You're not actually as aloof as you seem. You do crave intimate connections and feel quite deeply. It's just when it comes to communication, that may not always be your strongest suit. So if you are finding in your relationships that things are kind of getting a little bit wonky, do your best to communicate what you're actually feeling at all times, because that's going to make things move a lot more smoothly as you work through whatever emotional issues you may be going through. But in general, the chaotic energies are going to be reducing significantly. They're opening up new opportunities and new chapters for you. So you really won't be dealing with like a lot of kind of, wonky energy, we'll put it, right? So taking a step back to assess the situation with a clear and composed mind can also help you navigate through these complexities, preserving the harmony and stability within your relationships. And that's what I mean, like take that step back. Take a step outside of yourself. See how you're reacting in situations. If you feel someone has maybe wronged you or done something that you really don't like and it rubs you the wrong way, try to get in touch with like, why do you feel like that? Is it actually as big of a deal as you think it is? Or maybe are you overreacting a little bit just because you got pinged in that moment and kind of like you didn't know what to do? Okay. Now, remember, as the celestial energies ebb and flow, you do possess the power to shape your own destiny. That does not ebb and flow. That power is always there. It's innate. It's never going to go anywhere. So embrace these opportunities that are bestowed upon you and let go of past grievances and approach the present with optimism and discernment, right? So a lot of this process, Scorpio, for you, which is just well within your nature, this is just how it goes, is it's a reviewing period, it's a reflecting period, and it's how do you move forward with grace and confidence? What can you do to kind of move in the direction that you would like to move in? That's what we're talking about, right? We don't want to get stuck in the past. We don't want to dwell in feelings of grief, shame, guilt. Those are things that are not going to be helping you. They're not going to be facilitating things. If you want to use a revision technique to kind of get over that, certainly go ahead and do that. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the revision technique is in your imagination as you're in a state akin to sleep. You go back to a situation. Always when we do our imaginal techniques, it's from our own perspective. The same way you're looking at the screen, you're looking at your phone, you're looking wherever. That is the perspective that you will be using as you use these techniques. You're not watching yourself like a movie, okay? You're not watching yourself on camera. You're watching from within your own perspective. So the revision technique is where you place yourself in a situation that has already happened to you, and you know this situation is probably going to be likely to be emotionally charged, or maybe you didn't react or act the way you wanted to, and you revise it. You change the situation. You change it until the point that it feels that though that has actually happened. As you do that, this wonderful thing happens where it cascades up into time and it actually begins to change your mood in real time. You will notice your reactions will be different, your relationships may be even different, and it really is a very powerful technique. So if you find yourself kind of getting caught in a loop of dwelling on the past and being ashamed of things, this is a wonderful technique to kind of get through that and move yourself through it quite gracefully. Okay. So by doing this, though, you can pave the way for personal growth, success, and fulfillment in various facets of your life. And that's what you're looking for this month, Scorpio. You're looking for personal growth, success, and fulfillment. These are the things that you should be prioritizing. These are the things that you should be focusing on. And as you focus on these, you should begin to see more and more evidence that this is actually taking place in your life through your external circumstances, through what's actually going on. Okay. So remember to set clear goals and take action to achieve them. This is wonderful for Virgo season. Virgo season is up until the 23rd of September. Then we go into Libra season. The new moon in Virgo is on the 14th. That's an excellent time to align yourself with your emotions. Maybe go and journal what your intentions are related to personal growth, success, and fulfillment. Go ahead and make a list of those, and then just see what happens. As we approach the full moon in Aries on the 29th, you should start to see some tangible results from what you've written down earlier in the month, okay? So journaling is going to be a critical part. I recommend, especially during Virgo season, which is very much about the minutia and the particulars of how you can achieve success, okay? Plan Alpha, you've been getting a list emotional to Jimmy Buffett. I feel you. I'm not a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, never was, but I appreciate people who like him. And just also this month, make sure you spend some time with loved ones who can support you emotionally. Your support system is going to be there to help you. Again, this is not something that you use as your crutch. It's something that you use to help you kind of achieve your desires and your goals, and they can support you. And just spend some time in nature, connecting with your intuition. And this, again, is another process that should get you more in touch with yourself, allow you to take a step back and really reflect on what has gone well and what you can carry forward with you in the future as you pursue these larger dreams and goals. Again, September is a very transitional month. It's a very big month in terms of shaping what your future will look like, what your life will look like, who you are, where you're operating from. And you will know a hallmark of success as you change this is your reactions will be different. Perhaps there's a situation that would have kind of drove you nuts in the past. You'll notice that if you're fully kind of operating from a different place, that doesn't really bother you anymore. And that's a really good feeling when you can kind of transcend situations and get through things in a positive way. Okay. Let's get into the cards. We'll do the tarot, and then we will end with the animal oracles. And just a reminder for patrons, usually these will be about 40 minutes long. This month, they're going to be closer to 30 minutes just because I want to make sure I get through all of these no later than the 5th of September, so 2 days after this. And I'm aiming for 2 a day. This is the second today. So they're just going to be a little bit on the shorter side. We'll get back to the longer form ones in October. So again, if you would like to get the recordings of these, it will be on patreon.com/synchronicity. And for anyone who's following on any other channel, you can listen to the podcast. Okay. All right. First card, King of Wands. And this really speaks to these broad dreams and goals and manifestation of them. We see Leo the Lion on the throne. We see the king holding the wand in his right hand, the wand of reason, analysis, logic. And this is gazing out into the future and using your passion, using what you're genuinely interested in as your focusing agent, as your compass to determine what do you want your life to look like? When you wake up in the morning, what do you want your days to be? What do you want your emotional state to be comprised of? Who are the people you want to be hanging out with? Focus on these types of questions to help shape what it is you want your life to be. I can assure you, if you don't focus on these questions, take it from me, I've done this game plenty of times, something else will step in and kind of shape your life for you. And it's usually going to be something outside your threshold of consciousness. So you're going to be kind of subject to something that you really might not want. So please take it seriously that when you think about what you want your life to look like, really let your passion dictate that. Use that as your supportive platform, not necessarily logic, not necessarily reason, not necessarily what someone else wants you for you, but really what you care about, what really gets you going. And sky's the limit there, guys. There's nothing that can kind of prevent you from achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. But first, you must have that clear and concise goal in mind, okay? The Empress reversed, and this kind of speaks to maybe some of those relationship issues that may pop up this month. All I'm saying is that your relationship issues this month are going to be predicated on your emotional reactivity or lack thereof. If you are getting bent out of shape, if you are emotionally reacting to everything that comes your way, things may get a little bit turbulent in your relationship. So just be aware that it's up to you. If you notice yourself kind of getting reactive, getting a little bent out of shape, just take a step back, maybe go for a walk, maybe put on some headphones, listen to a song, do what you got to do to kind of get out of that headspace, because ultimately that's the only kind of like looming cloud, I would say, over the month of September for you, is there could be a little dissonance if you react emotionally too often or too strongly. So that's it. That's the only thing I would say to look out for in terms of like, okay, this is an energy that's present. Maybe I should just be aware of it. Otherwise, it is amazingly smooth. It is amazingly expansive. And it is, like many other signs in the month of September, a major pivot point. We also have, obviously, the autumnal equinox in the northern hemisphere. This is a time of shifting. The vibes shift heavy in September. We go from very hot weather in a lot of places to begin to start cooling down, and kids go back to school, people get kind of back from summer vacation and all of these things. So just be aware that that downshift in energy doesn't necessarily mean a downshift in what is possible or potential for you. It just means adjust your vibes accordingly. Okay, that's really what it's about. It's not really like about things slowing down or kind of going another direction. Okay. And then we have the Ace of Wands, right? Again, this speaks to passion, right? The Ace of Wands is the first card in the Wand series. Again, it's the right hand. You're going to be using your logic and rationality to identify what it is you are passionate about, and new endeavors related to passion, new endeavors related to something you truly care about, something that really like means a lot to you, should be pursued, should be expressed. And I would focus again on broader goals, things that you could see yourself doing years from now, right? These aren't going to be immediate little quick hit desires. These are going to be broad kind of big things that you really, really care about. And this is a wonderful opportunity to get started on those things. If there's something that you've been putting off that you really haven't been kind of going after, then this would be the time to maybe start thinking about how you can achieve those goals. Again, combined with Virgo season, this is a really good time to focus on the minutia or the small things that you can do to kind of build up what it is the grand things are. So use the micro to the macro, use the as above, so below kind of phrase to get things going for yourself. And again, related to your passions. Wands are fire. Fire is passion. This is something that we genuinely should care about if we want to pursue it. And Scorpio, you have all of the tools necessary to achieve your dreams. There's nothing that is not available and at your disposal to be able to achieve these. You have this innate ability to kind of reconstruct and resummon aspects of reality for yourself that some of the other signs may actually find a little bit more difficult to do, right? This phoenix-like energy, this ability to emerge from the water and go onto land and create situations is one of your best skills. You also generally know how to ride and move with the waves, whether they're karmic, whether they're energetic, whether they're just relational. You kind of know how to go with the flow. So embrace that aspect of your personality, and you really should find things in the month of September going relatively smoothly. I think it's going to be a very pleasant month for you. Just again, be aware of any emotional reactivity, just so you can just stay out of some complex issues related to relationships. That's all. No big deal. All right, let's pull some animal oracles and we'll wrap this up. Hopefully things have been going well for you. But again, a lot of the chaotic energy is dissipating. Okay. So just recognize if things have been turbulent, if they have been difficult, a lot of that is fading into the background right now. And you don't have to worry about this kind of being a permanent state of chaos. 2023 is I said it in 2022 at the end of it, it is an up and down transitional year. This month of September in 2023 represents a turning of the page, a new chapter, some aspect of your life that now is shifting into a new direction. We've kind of just been riding these waves, and depending on how gracefully we've done that, we've either been knocked down or we've successfully navigated it, but recognize the energy is substantially shifting this month, and your ability to kind of put one foot in front of the other while staying focused on your broader goals and dreams is going to serve you quite well if you're able to do that. Okay. Armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. Okay. And this is very important. You do need to make sure that you take care of yourself and communicate clearly with any partners, friends, family, coworkers, what your boundaries are. If your boundaries are intruded upon, that is going to eventually lead to some dissonance in your relationships. Sometimes people have difficulties communicating their boundaries because they feel like it's being rude or selfish. But at the end of the day, if you let people cross your boundaries, if you let people intrude on them, then eventually you'll have a negative reaction to that. And that's when things get really funky, because if you're not communicating what your boundaries are, how is someone supposed to know that? How are they supposed to get that message? It's impossible. So make sure that as you set your healthy boundaries, you're also communicating them not only to other people, but to yourself. Make sure that you are very clear about what it is okay and what's not okay. All right. Parrot spirit, watch your words. I'm going to give you an example here of watching your words. Okay. For the past year, I've been saying in my head, you got to get your shit together. 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 What do you think happens internally and physically when you say you got to get your shit together? What does that imply? It implies your shit's not together. Your subconscious does not have a sense of humor. It does not understand nuance. It does not understand subtlety, right? What does that mean? It means you will literally start having diarrhea. There is no discernment within the subconscious. You will just be like, okay, your shit's not together. Here you go. And this ultimately culminated with for me in Turkey, having like a really bad stomach issues for 3 weeks. And it was pretty fucking awful. So just be very careful about what words you use internally and how that can affect yourself. A lot of people will say something like, oh, it's killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. Don't say that internally. You don't understand the power that your words have over your reality. And these seemingly innocuous and simple turns of phrases can actually have profound and powerful effects on your reality. So you basically, yeah, that's exactly right. I manifested stomach issues because I wanted to get my shit together. Because when you say like, I wish I wasn't broke. I wish I wasn't broke. I wish I wasn't broke. You're doing two things there. One, you're basically instilling the fact that you're broke, that you don't have money, but you could also be saying like, I am actually broken. There's something wrong with me. So really try to pay attention to what your words are and what you're saying at any given time, because you may not realize the impact of what's actually going on as you say them. Koala spirit has a plan. Trust that you have laid out your life in a way that makes an abundance of sense for you. If you fight against situations, if you fight against the reality you have created for yourself, not only will it be uncomfortable, but it also won't make a lot of sense. When you understand and kind of see that you are constantly creating and shaping your reality, that's when those synchronicities begin to come in. That's when those situations that seem magical and numinous begin to flow into your life, right? So just make sure you're paying attention to what you believe in at all times, because if you give up that agency, if you give up that power, things may get a little bit out of control for you and you might not understand why. And then it creates a self-perpetuating situation that is quite uncomfortable. uncomfortable for a lot of people. So just recognize you have this innate power. You have this ability to kind of shape your reality. Don't forget it. Don't cede that to someone else. Don't let it go, and you're going to be fine. Scorpio, this is going to be a very wonderful, fun, excellent month. Please just be aware of your emotional states. Try not to be too reactive and enjoy this new chapter that is emerging and coming into your life. I think you're going to have an excellent September. I can almost guarantee it. So have fun with it. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Sagittarius and Capricorn. All right, guys, have an excellent rest of your Sunday.